A fiendish feline foils a murderer's attempt to hide the evidence. In our 13th caller story, the cat blinks twice. All right, caller, you're on the air.
It was a chilly November night, and Becky was dead. Slumped against the cabinets in her kitchen, an axe stuck square between her eyes, her head nearly split in two. Mary wasn't dead. She was alive, albeit exhausted from putting the business end of her axe in Becky's head. She hadn't planned on killing her. They were neighbors and had gotten along, until Becky started making eyes at her husband and swinging by her house during Mary's work hours, which, in Mary's mind, wasn't the neighborly thing to do. Something needed to be done. When she turned up in Becky's kitchen that night, she meant to scare her, make her think twice before flirting with her man. But Mary stood a skinny 5'3", a foot shorter than Becky. That's why she'd brought the splitting maul. But the two got to arguing, and Mary set to chopping. By the third swing, Becky was dead, and by the 40th, Mary's arms were tired. "You've done it now," she said, sitting down at the kitchen table to catch her breath and to pick the squishy bits of gore from her blouse and hair. "You're in a dill of a pickle, Mary Lee Wilkins." She slumped back in the chair, closed her eyes, and sighed. A real dill of a pickle. She was unsure what to do. This was her first murder, so she was treading in unfamiliar territory. But there's a first time for everything. And as her ma would say, a Wilkins always finishes what they start. While her ma wouldn't approve of murder, Mary figured the phrase probably still applied to the situation. She looked at the kitchen. A thick splash of maroon coated the walls and floor. This would be a long night. Hopefully, Becky kept her cleaning supplies well stocked. Blood is near impossible to scrub out. At the back of Mary's mind, she wondered if she remembered to record tonight's Jeopardy! A sliding glass door connected the kitchen to a flower garden Becky had covered in a thick, winterized tarp to protect the plants from the cold. Mary figured this was a decent enough spot to hide the body. She could dispose of the body proper in March when the snow thawed. Good thing Becky spent the holidays out of town. Maybe she could dump the body in some remote location, like a farmland or swamp. Worked for those killers on Unsolved Mysteries. But she dismissed the thought. What with the price of gas these days? Nope, backyard burial it is. She took a shovel from the garage and dug a shallow pit, right behind a row of impatiens, one of Mary's favorite flowers. Becky may have been a whore, but at least she had good taste. After an hour of digging, the hole was done. She returned to the kitchen and pulled the axe from Becky's skull. Then, grabbing the body by the legs, she dragged the corpse into the backyard. Her head bounced off the doorframe and a chunk of scalp sloughed off, revealing the depth of the hack job. Mary gagged. She lined the body up with the hole, and with a good kick, rolled the corpse into the grave. It landed face down in the dirt. A spurt of blood and brain peppered the wall of the pit and a bit of Mary's shoe. Ah, hell, would you look at that? She wiped her foot in the grass. Just ain't my night. She reached for the shovel and stifled a scream. Sitting on the mound of dirt was a black cat, an oily-haired Tom with one eye. On its collar hung a name tag with Becky's address. Shoo! Shoo! She waved her hands at the cat, but the animal didn't move. It stared at her with its singular copper eye, and something in the way the animal looked at her gave Mary the creeps. There was malevolence in that one eye.
Go on, get!
But the cat kept staring, drilling a hole right through her until she couldn't take it anymore. She took the shovel and brought it down on the cat's head, again and again until the cat was dead. Grabbing it by the scruff of the neck, she threw it in the hole next to Becky and buried them together. Mary stuck the shovel into the dirt, dusted off her hands, and wiped the sweat from her brow. She checked her phone. If she hurried, she might still catch the final jeopardy. She turned to head into the kitchen, but stopped, her hands clutching her mouth, a scream catching in her throat. The cat stared at her from the kitchen doorway. A light dusting of dirt and compost covered its fur. Impossible. The odds Becky owned 2 raggedy one-eyed tomcats were next to none, but there it was, sitting and staring at her. It couldn't be the same cat. Mary grabbed the shovel and uncovered the corpse. No cat. She spun around and faced the animal. Panic gripped her as she looked into the eye. She could see it now. An unnatural intelligence sat behind that singular eye. Something beyond explanation. Anger replaced fear, and she swung the shovel. And she didn't stop until she was sure the thing was dead. She wiped the tears from her eyes and threw the lifeless body into the grave and covered it with dirt. From behind her came a low meow. The cat was in the kitchen. Mary screamed. The lights next door turned on. The neighborhood dogs barked in alarm, but Mary didn't care. She charged the cat, raising the shovel above her head. She'd kill it this time. Pulp the damn thing until there was nothing left. Mary cleared the doorframe, but her foot found the chunk of Becky's scalp and she slipped. Her head hit the table, snapping her neck. She landed with a thump, her face bouncing off the checkered linoleum floor. She didn't get up. The neighbors found Mary dead, the shovel still in her hand. Later, they'd find Becky's body, along with her cat, dead and curled between her arms, as if it was sleeping.
Thanks for calling. I guess Mary couldn't hack it as an axe murderer. And that cat wasn't kidding around. Boo! 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 Your puns are appalling. That's my shtick. Stay in your lane. Ugh. Anyway, someone complained to HR about our pest problem. There's a nest of giant mutant ants living under the radio station. We've lost 4 maintenance workers already. Ugh. So, we'll be taking the holidays off, but we'll return on February 1st. In the meantime, we'll be uploading visuals from our story segments for you to enjoy. That's it for the show. If you enjoyed it, give me a like and subscribe for more monthly spooky content. And click that little bell icon so you know when the next show is out. Happy holidays, bloody buddies!